Welcome to See and Free Studio. This is Jen, and this is the place where you come to figure out what's unique, special, and different about you. I'm very passionate about talking about your USD because I think once you know it and you feel it, it drives your decisions, your choices, and it helps you get through some tough times. And I want everybody to have that feeling of knowing their value and their potential everywhere they go. And I think this next guest has found that in his career and in his family and over the years that we've known each other. Eric Gilliland is in his 21st season as the PGA Head Golf Pro at Audubon Country Club in Louisville, Kentucky. He's the proud papa of 3 children, Tony, Connor, and Libby. And Libby has followed in Dad's footsteps as a member of her golf team at the university. He serves on the executive committee of the Colon Cancer Prevention Project. He plays 100 holes of golf to raise awareness and money for the group. But a little known fact is that you're looking at Eric's worst caddy ever. After caddying his junior golf tournament in San Antonio, Texas when I was younger, I found out that real golfers have to walk the course, and so do their caddies. And so that did not work out for me. Clearly was not my USD. But Eric went on to be a very successful golf pro, and I'm so glad he's joining us here. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you, Jen. It's great to be invited, and you're selling yourself short. I mean, I think this caddy thing could still be a possibility for you, so don't give up on it yet.
Thanks, I appreciate it. I think the first time I caddied for you, I was probably as tall as your golf bag. So that's
probably
how long
true,
ago that
probably
was.
True.
Yeah, but I have gotten to know you over the years and watched you. We grew up together, and we've grown up together since. But it's been a fabulous time getting to know you and having you in my life. You want to tell everybody where you are and what you're doing these days?
Sure. I mean, again, you launched this whole golf career for me, so I guess I owe it all to you. But this is, as you said, my 21st year at Audubon Country Club. Kind of found my way into the golf business through playing in college and really had no intention of being in golf at all. I was interested in government and history, and that's what I studied. And was on my way back from the conference tournament my senior year, and my roommate said, "You really need to try golf. You're so eaten up with golf. Why would you go a different direction? At least try the business." So I deferred graduate school for a year, really liked the golf business, and stayed with it for another. And next thing I know, I'm 21 years in at Audubon Country Club, and it's just been a really great ride.
Yeah, I've never actually seen the club, but it sounds like a really fabulous course there in Louisville. So if anybody ever is in town, please go see Eric. He'll give you some tips and help you play the course. You know, Eric, one of the things we talk about is, your USD, your unique, special, and different, goes beyond the job and your interest. And so when you think about your USD, what would you say it is?
I think I've kind of tripped into that, Jen. I didn't realize when I got into the golf industry just how varied the job of being a golf professional would be. You bump into somebody at a golf or at a cocktail party who's a golf pro, and the kind of questions that pro would be asked is, where do you play, or what names do you know? You must play golf with Tiger Woods. It must be great to play golf all the time. And as a golf professional at a private club, we teach. I with my wife own the golf shop inventory, so we merchandise and do everything that's involved with owning your own business. We do tournament operations, junior programming, charity outings. Right now, I'm working with a world-renowned architect on doing a social putting green in a short game area that's good for kids and families. There are just so many different things that come along with it. So when you ask, what is that USD? I guess it's kind of an understanding of what people are looking for, how they enjoy their experience, connecting with them, and using all the various skills that I've developed over the years to connect with people in all those different ways. So when I come to work, one day I may spend half the day working on uh, a tournament that we have coming up, and the other half may be instruction with a 4-year-old and then a senior who's 80 years old trying to hit the ball 10 yards further. And there's I think something special not just within me but within all golf professionals to be able to have that kind of diversity of day and be able to excel in each of those things and make people feel um, in a way like you're their best friend. I feel like I have 300 families that are my best friends, and it's just been a really fun way to spend every day.
Yeah, I love that. And do you think, I mean, having that attention to the experience that people want, and helping them set their aim high and shoot for it, do you think you discovered that when you were younger and then you just recognized it as you got older, or do you think it's something that's evolved over time?
I would say a lot of that developed in college for me. That was when I really started trying a lot of new things and stepping out a little bit. You knew me when I was young. I was a very shy high schooler, middle schooler, not anxious to take risks. And I think the more opportunities I took to put myself in places where I was not comfortable, the more I realized what I was capable of doing. And each time that probably pushed me in this unique direction that I finally landed in. And you find out in this profession that it's a wonderful platform to do so many things more than just be a golf pro. It represents a lot of different things, but there's so many more things you can do in your community with this platform and so many tight relationships.
Tell me, what's your absolute favorite part of it? I mean, working with all those different types of people, providing all those different kinds of experiences, do you have a favorite thing that you like to do to provide that experience?
All of the things that I mentioned, I love doing. I love to teach because that's the deepest connection that you make with your members. Um, I find probably the most rewarding instruction to be with junior golfers because the appreciation that comes both from the junior and the excitement that comes from success from a junior is really, really special. But also the parents realizing the value you have. Again, I feel like I'm a part of so many different families, and you see these young people grow up to be successful in a lot of different areas, whether it's golf or otherwise. Some come back to be members of the club, which is really, really neat to see. And when they become avid golfers, you feel like you've done something for them, given them a gift that they're going to be able to enjoy for the rest of their life. So that's the instruction part of it. We're able to connect with a lot of charities in this business. We do 10 to 13 corporate/charity events a year, and almost every one of those is tied to an organization that needs support from the clientele that we serve. And so it's phenomenal to see groups like Down Syndrome of Louisville, Colon Cancer Prevention Project, with whom I work, um, Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. All of these organizations are supported by events that we run. So there's just so many different ways in which you find yourself fulfilled through this work.
That's great. You know, Eric, I think the thing that was going on in the back of my mind, and I'm not anywhere near a golf pro. If it were up to me, I'd play like a 3-wood all the way through. And use a tee, which I know is sacrilege for you. But for you to choose this is, I mean, the word pro, right? That's a certain standard of playing. Do you still enjoy the game from a recreational perspective yourself as you're playing it? And what have you learned about yourself as you've played over the years?
Well, sure, and that's a great question. I do still love to play. The responsibilities in the position have grown so much. Being a golf pro now in 2021 is so different than it might have been for my mentor, Dick Brado, when he started. It was very much teaching, instruction, club fitting, not so much budgeting and data-driven work, which I haven't mentioned, but there's a lot of that behind the scenes as well. But when I can get out there, I most enjoy it with my family and friends. I still enjoy competing, but it's difficult to go out there and compete when you know you haven't practiced what you preached. So when I'm working with better players, you're trying to get those better players to work really hard at what you're teaching them and to put in the work. And I found myself for a number of years really just showing up at golf tournaments and hoping it worked out. And I wouldn't advise that if you're paying large entry fees to play in tournaments. But there is still, even going to those tournaments and playing with my peers and getting a chance to compete allows me to uh, still get those butterflies and feel what it is that I'm trying to teach my students. I have one right now that we're hopeful is going to make it on the LPGA tour. She's down in Florida playing in events, and still getting out there and playing in events myself allows me to connect with her in a way that I wouldn't if I weren't still playing. And I will be a senior this year, which means I get to move forward a little bit this fall. So that's pretty exciting for me.
That's very cool. Can you explain what that means? What does it mean to become a senior?
You're right. You're right. I need to be fair to the whole audience. So when you turn 50 in Kentucky, the Kentucky PGA events are played from what's considered a senior tee or slightly less distance. So when you're built like me, 5'9" and not exactly cut like most athletes, it's nice to be a little bit further, a little closer up to the green. So when you hit that tee ball, you have a little less club in. So they don't let me use a 3-wood and a tee all the way around the golf course. Being a little closer is going to be helpful.
I don't think they let me do that either, Eric, if it makes you feel better. Well, I mean, I'm so glad you still enjoy it, because I mean, I remember growing up, you really did as well, and you seemed natural, like that was just your space, and I think for me, the reason golf never caught on is because it required a lot of quiet, precision, and deliberate kind of intention, none of which I had mastered, but you clearly have. So I think it's wonderful that you've pursued this and have found your passion and been able to share it with others. And as you've shared it with others, I mean, is there any advice you give people who are thinking about going into this field now that you've shared, like there's a lot of breadth to it. It's not just getting out and golfing. It's a business that you're running and an experience that you're providing. Any advice you give?
Well, again, I do think it takes a special type of individual, and we're fortunate there are so many of them out there all over the world that are spreading this great game. And in a COVID year, golf has actually had a huge resurgence. So rounds of golf were up over 20% in the United States. People figured out that it's a great way to spend time outdoors, to spend time with family in a safe way. And I don't see that going away anytime soon. So if I were to speak to somebody who's expressing interest in the business, I would say, if you're okay working weekends and working when everybody else is playing, that's a good start. Because it's a very different kind of schedule. You have to make a lot of sacrifices family-wise to be in the business. But I just can't fathom for someone who's passionate about the game and has a varied skill set, and the it that I try to hire in every individual that comes into my operation. I've been fortunate to have so many golf professionals that have worked under me go on to become head professionals or leaders in the industry. If you've got that passion and that ability to connect with people, at least give it a shot. If you're a decent player and like to teach and have that connection, and I've got some in the golf shop right now that are working with me that really have that it factor, you can be extremely successful and you can be very rewarded in your work.
That's great. That's great. And I think that's great advice, is just give it a try. Like that's something I think all of us need to do more of. And you talked about that. That was a moment for you in college where you got uncomfortable and you took risks and you gave it a try and it's worked out for you. So I think that's fantastic to share with others and to get them out there in that discomfort and to triumph over it. Eric, this is a part of the show where I like to ask a random question. And the good news is the only choice you get in this is to pick a number between 1 and 25. And therefore you have some control over what the question is.
Well, I'm a huge Aaron Rodgers fan, so I'm going to go with number 12.
Which one? What number?
Number 12.
12. All right. Okay. Ooh, I have no idea how you're going to answer this. What is something that you collect and why?
Oh gosh, you should know the answer
I
to
do
this
know the
one.
answer.
Um, and I'm going to stay with it. So in 1980, I was playing Little League Baseball and was really, really into everything baseball and started collecting baseball cards. And also became a Pittsburgh Pirates fan in 1980, which the significance of that is the Pirates haven't won anything of significance since 1979. And I became a fan in 80, and I'm still waiting. But I started collecting baseball cards, buying those bubble gum packs and flipping through all the cards. And I'm kind of a numbers geek, so I'd put them all in order of batting average and earned run average and all these things. But to date now, I would say I have somewhere over 50,000 baseball cards. And my wife, Susan, she's wonderful. She got tired of looking at all these binders and she bought me these really nice, they look like books the way they're bound, and they sit on shelves in our bedroom now and don't look like baseball cards at all. So I feel like we both won there.
I remember those binders. You had so many of them. You're the one that taught
Yes,
me how to read a baseball card, if I remember. We had shoe boxes and binders. I mean, there's so many of those things.
that's
I
right.
remember that. Well, that's great. I didn't know you were still collecting. So, and I think, right, that's worth something, the baseball cards, if you
They
ever
are. I don't
chose
know
to
that I could
depart with them.
ever I don't know that I could ever sell them, but yes, they would have some value for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Hopefully, one of the three kids will want to keep them.
Yes, I suspect they will. Those are definitely mementos, and Dad has had them forever, kids. So you definitely want to keep them. Eric, I want to make sure that you talked about you give a lot to charities and you're involved with a lot of charities. And here at See and Free, we want to raise awareness for charities as much as possible, so that our viewers can get to know those charities and help them with their cause and impacting people. So with that, I know you're supporting the Colon Cancer Prevention Project. You want to share a little bit about the organization and why it's important to you?
Absolutely. So, at the age of 36, when my children were all very young, I experienced a little bit of rectal bleeding, and didn't really know what it was, didn't think a whole lot about it, but brought it to Susan's attention. And she had very fortuitously just read an article about 10 symptoms you should never ignore. And that was one. So fast forward to what happened. I wound up having an emergency resection on my colon. I actually had colon cancer at the age of 36. No family history, no reason to believe that I had uh, any possibility of having any form of cancer. Had a pretty healthy lifestyle. So took a few months to recover. And I will say that my mom and your dad were phenomenal through the whole ordeal. Helped out with our family quite a bit because it was tough for Susan as a young mother to have me down for a while. But I was very fortunate to make a full recovery. I had a surgeon who knew what I did for a living and wanted to make sure that uh, he did an aggressive procedure to return me to my lifestyle. So eventually, once I kind of got my legs under me again, I thought, well, this is a new lease on life for me. This is an opportunity to, as I said earlier, use my platform, use my relationships to drive awareness and make sure that folks have symptom recognition. And so I got involved with Dr. Whitney Jones' organization, the Colon Cancer Prevention Project. In Kentucky, a lot of folks would think maybe we're a little bit of a backward state, and with colon cancer prevention, we absolutely are. And at one time, we were 49th in colon cancer screenings in the country. We were really terrible. We have a lot of environmental issues and uh, habit issues in Kentucky, particularly in Appalachia and inner city, that exacerbate that problem. So we as an organization are very on the offense. We're not about helping people At the end of this process, we're about beating this thing at the start. So we, in the years that Whitney has led the project, and Amanda Smart, our current executive director, and with our board's involvement, we have gone from the 49th state to the 20th state in the nation for colon cancer screenings. We've had a 25% reduction in incidence, 28% reduction in mortality. And so every year we come up with a new plan. Where are we going next? How are we going to fight this thing and beat it back? And what's scary, Jen, is that people are getting younger and younger that are getting this. And so that's why I play 100 holes every year. Within our membership, it draws attention to this issue, and they've raised over $78,000, friends and family at Audubon, since 2013, just with our little work for the project. So we're just going to keep on battling this thing because it's unnecessary. Most of it's preventable, and if we get people paying attention, we're going to continue to be successful.
Yeah, we will, and I'm so glad that you're healthy and doing well, and that your doctor took care of you, and our parents took care of you as well. And thank you, Susan, for reading that article and pushing him to go to the doctor. Everyone needs one of those in their life, somebody in their family that just says, no, you should go. But those are phenomenal results. And congratulations to the Colon Cancer Prevention Project. Congratulations to Kentucky, because those margins are phenomenal. So please, everyone, if you're watching and you've heard Eric's story, one, get yourself checked out, and two, go check out the Colon Cancer Prevention Project. If you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you could go ahead and check it out online. And if you're watching us on YouTube or LinkedIn, we'll have the code up again here in a little bit for you. You just need to take your camera, snap the QR code, and it'll take you right to the donation page. So we want to make sure we do as much as we can to help people find this disease early and fight it. With that, I want to thank you, Eric, for coming on the show and giving us the opportunity to check in with each other. I've really appreciated the chance to do that today. And Eric, thanks again, my friend. I miss you, and I hope to see you soon.
Thanks so much for having me, Jen. It was a pleasure.
And I want to send us off with a reminder that everyone can subscribe to seeandfreestudio.com and check us out on YouTube or LinkedIn or Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and you can probably find us everywhere at this point. We're so glad you come back every week, and talk soon.